Okay, this is a bit of a short one because it's quite a standard answer to this one. What to do when a family member is suicidal or has attempted suicide and was saved but didn't want to be, so it's going to continue making attempts. I think that the big thing is to seek professional help. As much as you want to help, it's really challenging because there's likely a lot of family reasons or personal reasons why someone is attempting suicide. So it's quite important to understand that this person needs an objective person. Ideally, family usually panics and changes quite drastically. They take doors away, they make you completely supervised all the time, they take away sharp objects and sort of panic around it. They try to convince you that life is worth living, or they guilt trip you to how terrible this would be. And I can't say that that always works, but I can't say that it doesn't to say don't do it. So ideally, just trying not to change too much for that person. Obviously, you don't want to not change at all because that gives the impression that what they did didn't matter. Must be a very clear indication that what you did mattered to us, that we didn't want you to do that, and we don't want you to do it. State your reasons why you didn't want them to do it, but also, an interesting concept that someone said is we never really opted in for this life. Our parents made that decision for us. So, so people say I can't really take the right away from me to not opt out. I just think it's not worth it. I'm an incredibly hopeful person and I really enjoy life. Sometimes we need medication to do that. Sometimes we need, to change our entire lives to do that, to not be in stressful jobs, to get out of poverty, I understand when there's contextual stuff in our lives that could sort of make us turn to suicide. But life is always worth living. So I think if you can disclose to this family member, there was a terrible thing that they did, it really upset you, you disclose your feelings, you say you really don't want them to, why you don't want them to, but then, not to harp on it. This person's clearly had thoughts running through their mind constantly, and to have someone they care about or someone they didn't want around or didn't want to be around, focusing and harping on it again doesn't always help. Generally, they need a space to be with themselves, to decide what they want to do with their lives. And generally, they need professional help. It's a really quite a simple one in a sense. And for you to seek help, it's not easy for your family member to decide they don't want to be here anymore and then to continually decide that. It's really challenging because you don't know why. You start questioning, did we see something? Did we miss something? Or what did we do wrong? Which are really normal thoughts. Really, really normal. But they need answers to you so you can move on. So you can, step out of the darkness and sort of step into finding meaning. Finding something worth living for, reconnecting with this family member. But generally, when someone attempts suicide, something needs to change. But it could be internal. It doesn't mean it has to be familial. And it takes time to figure out what that is. And if you get a professional involved, they know the setup in terms of how do we protect that person from doing it again? Because maybe it's a chemical reason why they're doing it. Maybe, they're feeling very alone and they don't realize they have people around them. And unfortunately, there's no getting out of death. So they must understand that. And if you as a family member put that across to them, there is no getting out of death. If you want to release yourself from pain, if you want to let go of drama and problems, there's a way out for that. And that's, through therapy and through support and through connections and meaningful experiences and enjoying life. And there's lots of ways to move out of pain, but there's no after to death. Not that we're fully aware of. Not that we're fully aware of. I know people have their religious beliefs, but we don't know that. No one's really come back and told us. So death is final. And by committing suicide, you miss all the opportunities to do stuff like that. Walking daughters down aisles, meeting your grandkids, all those big graduations, new jobs, Christmases, birthdays, watching your favorite team win games, enjoying new PlayStation games, enjoying changing weather, traveling, all those lovely experiences that you can actually have, whereas death takes all of that away. So if you can convince a person attempting suicide that there are ways to alleviate the pain, and you're willing to assist them with that, but not through suicide and not through enabling unhealthy or bad behaviors. But you seek help, they seek help, because generally when you've gotten to that point, you need to talk to someone. You need to hash out what caused you to feel that way. And especially if it's post an attempt. Pretty much everybody feels a bit suicidal, feels like this life sucks, I want to get out. Or has the impulses to jump off bridges or crash their car or overdose on something. Generally life's there's some difficult times. But from an impulse, you go to a thought. From a thought, you go to a plan. From a plan, you go to implementation. And if you've already had an attempt and it was unsuccessful, then there's also guilt and shame and all the post-suicide attempts, drama that happens. So impulse, very normal. Most people go through them. Thought, also, 2/3 of the population probably go through that. It's when it gets to these 3 stages that we need to actually seek professional help. Yeah, so that's pretty much my answer. Is what do you do when a family member has attempted suicide? You seek professional help. You get support for yourself because it's not easy as a family member. You state your claims regarding how you feel about the suicide, why you want this person to keep living, what you're willing to do for this person, but you draw a line at enabling, you draw the line at victiming, or like allowing them to stay a victim. You draw the line at making drastic changes that actually make the person feel worse. And you draw the line at being their savior. They need professional help and they need to step out of this themselves. They need to work through it themselves. So yeah, hopefully that answers your question.